organic, unpredictable, unknown, lovely, beautiful, a sense of fulfillment. This is part of the pleasures of life and not the chores of life.
Coming up tonight on Daily Iowan TV.
If you step outside, make sure that you hold on to your hats because it is a windy one. I'll have more coming up.
And it's Oscar Sunday. Our own Cole Johnson hit the streets to find Iowa City's best impromptu acceptance speeches.
And in sports,
women's and men's hoops battled through Big Ten conference games.
That and more is all ahead. You're watching Daily Iowan TV.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Katie Sextro.
And I'm Tanner Sigworth.
Our coverage continues on the search for the university's next president.
Daily Iowan reporter Thomas Jardine is standing by in the newsroom to tell us about the university's latest efforts to get this monumental decision right.
Thanks, Tanner and Katie. I was in attendance at the town hall style meeting held at the IMU where students offered contradictory remarks that were criticisms and praise for President Mason and the new presidential hopeful. I talked to one student who wanted a president to be more open with regards to difficult subjects like racial discrimination and sexual misconduct.
Thanks, Thomas. Meanwhile, another threat on the horizon from Al-Qaeda today. Al-Shabaab, the Somalian-based terrorist group linked to Al-Qaeda, was threatened attacks on America, the UK, and Canada. Their target location? Shopping malls. Al-Shabaab is the same group responsible for a 2013 mall attack that killed 60 people in Nairobi, Kenya. The group released a video in which they mentioned Minneapolis Mall of America and a Canadian mall. Both malls say they have increased security as a result.
One University of Iowa doctor has been banned from practicing medicine in the state of Iowa following claims of sexual harassment. Documents released Thursday from the Iowa Board of Medicine showed the 40-year-old pediatrician, Faraz Rabi, is accused of making inappropriate advances with nurses and writing prescriptions to people other than patients. The decision also comes with a $10,000 fine. Rabi was fired from UI hospitals back in 2010. He now works as a pediatrician in Ohio.
Iowans hoping to ease their ailments through medical marijuana are hearing mixed messages for what the future will hold. Governor Branstad previously suggested a plan to have Iowans head east to get their cannabis oil. Iowa would partner with neighboring state Illinois, where lawmakers are currently exploring ways to distribute and regulate the drug. But federal law poses a huge roadblock to that plan, as carrying over state lines is considered a federal crime. Industry experts say the plan would require a major overhaul of state and federal regulation.
And in another political mix-up, it appears presidential hopeful Chris Christie will have a less welcoming Iowa to lean on this election. As 2016 approaches, candidates are turning to Iowa for support. Conservative activists and donors once campaigned hard for Christie to run in 2012. When he didn't, he lost his chance at the presidency and at having their support. Standout Iowa Republicans are now looking to back other candidates.
Still ahead on Daily Iowan TV. Using flames to create miniature masterpieces.
And later, Cole Johnson is revealing your worst red carpet nightmares. Stay tuned. But first, Mitch has a first look at the forecast for your week ahead.
Mitch, what can we expect?
Well, guys, to be frank, it was pretty brutal out there today. As you can see on our Pentacrest cam, it's super sunny, but make no mistake, it was very cold. Winds were brisk today, reaching 16 miles per hour at times and dropping temps to below zero. In fact, a wind chill advisory has been issued until early tomorrow morning, so tonight might be a good night to stay in. Tomorrow morning will still be pretty frigid, remaining at zero, but temps will continue to climb until about 12 in the afternoon. Things will finally cool down to a manageable 10 degrees tomorrow evening. Looking forward, the rest of the week doesn't look too shabby, with temps as high as 38 on Tuesday and no lower than -1 on Thursday. However, that nasty wind may continue to be a bother for the rest of the week, so don't be afraid to pack on the layers. That's all that's going on outside, so back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Mitch. Now clothes signs are going up on bead stores across the corridor, but one Iowa City native has used her own artistic flair to conquer this dying trend. Daily Iowan TV's Greta Miley has more on this rare gem.
We have glass, we have metals, we have precious metals and non-precious metals, seeds, corn, bone, wood.
And the list of precious minerals in store owner Karen Cubby's bead collection goes on and on.
Cubby began following her calling when she was just a little girl.
I would sell bracelets to my classmates with one free restringing in 6th grade.
Cubby became a potter and a bead weaver, traveling the Midwest in her early life to share her artwork at fairs. But when she bought the store 8 years ago, she was presented with a new challenge: actually creating the beads themselves.
So I spent a lot of time just learning how to make glass beads, and now I make them for the store and I teach classes.
The store not only allowed her to make beads, but also allowed her to fully unleash her artistic ability.
I made this very large, almost shield piece, and then I decided that I wanted to see what it looked like in a smaller scale. So 80 hours later, I have this other piece that's kind of a mother-daughter, you know.
But while beading was a trend about 10 years ago, all shops in eastern Iowa have failed except Beadology.
And we've brought our political philosophy that community involvement is critical. This back room that's kind of a classroom now can be turned into a cabaret, can be turned into a poetry reading space, can be turned into a little girl's birthday party.
Cubby teaches classes throughout the week and welcomes all in, even if it is just to get peace during a busy day. Greta Miley, Daily Iowan TV.
Thanks for that, Greta.
That is such an interesting process.
A lot of detailed work. It must take her a long time to create those pieces.
Now, handcrafted jewelry may not be an option for all of us, and as prom season quickly approaches, affordable often goes out the window for area high school students. But a mix of unexpected local businesses teamed up this weekend to make the notoriously expensive event a little more affordable. Stuff Etc., Iowa Valley Habitat for Humanity, and the Iowa City Landfill and Recycling Center partnered again this year for what they call Project Prom. The program encourages Iowa City citizens to donate gently used prom dresses to be sold at reduced prices for area high schoolers. $10 and a trip to one of the Stuff Etc. locations is all high schoolers need to have their prom attire nailed down. Project Prom hosted local shoppers throughout the day today and yesterday. The stores also collected jewelry, purses, and shoes, all for the sale at a reasonable price. Proceeds will be donated to United Action for Youth.
Now, while some have been living in the new year for months, a different new year is just beginning. The UI Confucius Institute celebrated the Chinese New Year Thursday. Suen Wang was there and has more.
This is the episode of Chinese New Year Gala 2015 in China. But here in Iowa City, Chinese students have designed their own celebration by Chinese program at the UI Confucius Institute. Let's check it out. Chinese New Year celebration has free admission, providing Chinese refreshments and dumplings to the audience.
For us students far away from our home country, we still want to feel the festival atmosphere on Chinese New Year.
This year's featured performance is line dance, which is one of the most traditional performances in China.
We're both third-year students studying Chinese, and we are doing a lion dance.
Performances include a century-old Chinese instrument guzheng, Chinese paper cutting, Chinese martial art, accordion performance, and so on. All the performances are by Chinese teachers and foreign students in Chinese program. The celebration gives students a chance to participate and learn more about Chinese culture. Attracting more than 80 people this year, the Chinese New Year celebration hopes to bring good luck to all the students in Iowa.
新年快乐，恭喜发财。
羊年快乐，恭喜发财。
Suen Wang, Daily Iowan TV.
Hawkeye sports were everywhere this past weekend, but right here in Iowa City, it was almost like a dunk contest for the Iowa men's hoops in Carver on Thursday.
Danny Payne and Taylor Brooks are standing by in the sports studio. Guys, was that the NBA Slam Dunk Contest or just Iowa putting on a show?
Thanks, Katie and Tanner. I almost felt like I was watching the pros on Thursday night.
We'll have more on that Rutgers-Iowa showdown coming up, but first to women's hoops.
It was almost the complete opposite for Iowa women's basketball this weekend as they concluded their Big Ten road schedule.
Saturday night, the Hawkeyes faced Ohio State for the second time this season, but this time they fell short 100-82.
This is what head coach Lisa Bluter thought after the loss on the road.
It's a crazy league. I mean, it's just so good. It's so good, and you know, we should be sending 7 or 8 from this league to the tournament, definitely. But you know, we're just coming in here and beating everybody up. You know, it's. You know, I'd love to see us go back to 16 games just because of this, but, you know, at the same time, they're not going to, I don't think.
It wasn't all bad as Sam Logic moved to third in third overall in the Big Ten with assists. But with the Hawkeyes losing that game, it means that Maryland clinches the regular Big Ten season crown.
Iowa finishes up their regular Big Ten season with 2 home games inside Carver Hawkeye Arena this upcoming week against Wisconsin and Minnesota.
On the other hand, the men's team looked like a completely different team this past Thursday.
That's right, it was a completely different team, plus Adam Woodbury wasn't poking eyeballs out, instead dunking the ball.
Woodbury was dunking, Aaron White was throwing it down, and even Gabe Olashini had a dunk of his own.
It wasn't just an explosive offense, though, it was defense as well.
I was courtside at Carver Hawkeye Arena, where the Hawks seemed to be heading in the right direction.
A big question for Hawkeye men's hoops was how they were going to snap a tough 2-game losing streak. But when the team took center court Thursday night against Rutgers, it turned into a game of activity.
This guy was activity. You know, I mean, was it picture perfect? Probably not, but there was activity, there was rotations, there was ball pressure.
Not only did the defensive game meet the challenge, but offensively, 4 Hawkeyes scored in double figures, led by Jared Uthoff with 14 points, followed by Aaron White with 13.
And then I was able to get up and finish. You know, I think I made it pretty apparent I was pretty frustrated with how I played last game, finishing around the basket. So maybe I took some of that out on that.
Shooting 50% from the field as a whole played a key part, but reestablishing the inside game became significant when 32 of the Hawkeyes' 81 points came from inside the paint.
I mean, I think that's who we are, and you know, you want to kind of do that every game and, you know, establish it like you said, and then also mix it up. You know, some perimeter shooting, some penetration, some post up, some transition, and kind of attack with all of those things in mind.
The defensive and offensive game was in full force as Rutgers committed 19 turnovers, and the Hawkeyes converted those turnovers into buckets.
We made more shots, took better shots. I think our defense, we kind of set the tempo, and we want to play at our game. So, I mean, we kind of let them dictate the tempo the other day, and I think we kind of made an example and tried to maintain what we had to do, and we came out strong and just tried to put it on as fast as we could.
The Hawkeyes returned to action on the road earlier today against Nebraska, destroying them 74-46.
Basketball wasn't the only sports team in action this weekend. Hawkeye sports were all over the United States.
Tomorrow, our Whip Around crew will update you on softball, baseball, and women's gymnastics. But quickly, before we wrap things up, we have an update on the national wrestling duels that took place here in Iowa City this weekend.
Missouri handed Iowa their first loss of the season with an 18-12 decision.
Top-ranked Corey Clark, Nick Moore, Mike Evans, and Bobby Telford captured wins, but the team still came up short.
For more on the duels as a whole, check out the recap right here tomorrow night.
While the weekend is over for our Hawkeye sports stars, it has just begun for our favorite stars in Hollywood. We don't have access to the red carpet, but we sent out Daily Iowan TV reporter Cole Johnson to find out how students would handle being on the red carpet themselves.
What is the worst possible thing that could happen to you on the red carpet?
Well, I'm really used to speaking in front of a crowd, so I don't think I'd get nervous. I would think that I'd probably trip over myself, knowing me, you know.
Definitely same. I would fall right on my face.
I'm really derpy and uncoordinated, so.
First thing that could probably happen to me is if I fell, then I would have to, you know, just act like it was part of the show, I guess.
I don't know, dress falling down, maybe something like that. Pants come unbuttoned, flies undone, something like that.
Well, I hope you guys are as excited for the Oscars as I am. Reporting from the IMU, Cole Johnson, Daily Iowan TV.
Thanks, Cole. Okay, Tanner, your worst red carpet nightmare. Go.
Oh, geez. Well, what if my tux doesn't end up fitting and I end up wearing Danny Payne's beige suit jacket? And then maybe they introduce me to Emma Stone. She mishears my name is Taylor, and then she's calling
All
me
right,
Taylor
that's
all
it for
night.
us. You can check out the full version of Cole's Q&A on our YouTube page. Just search Daily Iowan TV. See you tomorrow at 9.
Can't pick up a copy of the Daily Iowan? Are you worried about how you're going to find out about the latest news in Iowa City and the University of Iowa? Well, look no further. You can download the Daily Iowan mobile app on your iPhone for the area's best news coverage. And you can also read and watch us on your iPad. You can always find current and past Daily Iowan stories at dailyiowan.com. The Daily Iowan is now on TV, online, and in your pocket.